Hey, have you heard about Nuzlocke? Well, I've been doing them on my Twitch channel, that's Majestic Caveman as well, by the way, for a couple months now, and it turns out children's games can be pretty hard when you throw some weird arbitrary rules at them. I'm trying to go through each generation in preparation for the new games coming out. Now, we made it to Generation 6, Kalos. We're doing Pokemon Y. And honestly, I've been really excited to go through it. I remember really liking it as a kid, and I remember everybody else hating it now. You know? So I think it'll be good to go through it, even if we're locking it and it's a little different. Now, before we get too into the video, we should probably explain the rules of a Nuzlocke. Honestly, if you're watching this, you probably already do know the rules. Just in case, these are the big rules. Only the first Pokemon of each route can be caught and used, and if a Pokemon faints, it's gone forever. Now, every time you catch a Pokemon as well, you have to nickname it. That way you get more invested in the Pokemon for when they inevitably die in my hands. Now, everybody sort of plays by their own rules a little bit. Everybody changes them. Here's my unofficial rules. Dupe's Clause. A lot of people play by this one. This is to keep the encounters a little more fresh, keep the team a little unique. If we have a Pokemon, we've already caught anything from that species line before, we're not allowed to catch another one of it. So if I catch a Bidoof on Route 1, and I see another one on Route 3 as my first encounter, I get to roll again. It's great. If a gift Pokemon is a little bit too strong, think the Mega Lucario we'll get later, probably just not going to touch it at all. So, we start our adventure by waking up and meeting our brand new neighbors. If you couldn't tell, we're playing on an emulator. Do you know how expensive 3DS capture cards are? So, we meet up with our new friends and introduce ourselves as Garflubber. Then they give me my first Pokemon, and I was super excited to use Greninja again, as it had been a really long time since I had actually even played Kalos, or used a Greninja, or like anything from Kalos. And then my chat screamed at me to use Chespin, so... Now that we have our starter, we start making our way through Route 1. We do a couple battles, and if you haven't done a Nuzlocke before, you may not really consider how boring some of the first encounters are. But we actually did get lucky, and we found a Panpour we named after Lollifant, one of my oldest viewers. Once we made it into the first town, we went through the encounters to put together a simple team. That's exactly when I realized our team would be terrible for the first gym. We had a bunch of low-level, first route, Route 1, kind of mid-tier to bad Pokemon. We did have a Panpour at least, who's interesting to use, but ours was... We don't have a great setup for this. Okay, we really do need to train Panpour. Pretty bad. Then we had Chespin, who's great, but weak to the entire gym. Now, thankfully, since it was only the first gym, there wasn't a lot of trainers, and the gym leader ended up being a pretty big pushover. Was it good during the weather warp? He's paralyzed. All right, we're good. We're ready. Let's send in Chespin. He's ready. Childhood's this war game, every woman had a huge ass and tits. Proud. I'm glad you haven't changed. Brilliant. I'm a fucking tactician, Chad. All right, now it's up to Fate. Kill it this time, and then it should be a Pavilion. Pavilion. It should be a Butterfly. No bug type move, really? Eek. God damn! There's a dead ass butterfly right there. Who goddamn? So, we got our first batch, and while moving towards our next big city, we were given the EXP share. And we probably need to take a second and talk about one of the biggest non-graphical changes in this generation, and as far as the whole series goes. EXP share changed from being a single held item to a key item that affects the whole party instead. While some people do and don't use it, in this first part, I'll be using it at least for a little while to try and make sure everybody's pretty caught up level-wise. But I'll be trying to make sure my levels don't get too high, at least not on purpose, okay? So don't kill me. So afterwards, we found another pretty decent party member in Flabebe, and we named it Lactose. And while recording this, for the life of me, I do not fucking remember why. Then we made our way to the big main city in Kalos, Lumiose. And while we can't explore much of it right now, this is the first time I'd been here in a long time. Forget how much I actually appreciated the look and feel of this game. And although the models are certainly rough around the edges, the game honestly looks pretty good for an older handheld one, better than I remember. Although some of that is just Citra, but you know, it's good. What is also really good, the music in Gen 6, painfully underappreciated. I don't think I've come across a bad song in this yet. And let me remind you, while we're recording this, it's not done yet. We still have a lot of game to go. But I got my hopes up for it. Anyways, now that we're here, we meet up with a super French professor guy, and we steal his Bulbasaur. Because he's a professor, so we get a starter, I guess. Now, this is going to be the first Pokemon we're not going to immediately use. This is because I view it as pretty strong. It's a pretty OP gift to have. I will use it, but only if my first original starter dies. And I don't plan on that happening, so we probably won't see much of Bulbasaur. Now, before we leave the city, we end up walking into the cafe where we meet local businessman Lysandra, who might in fact be the most evil man on record.
Your duty to be ever beautiful, everything beautiful should stay that way forever. I would end the world in an instant so that beauty never fades. I can't stand the thought of the world becoming uglier.
Oh, hello, Austin. This is Diantha, one of the most accomplished movie stars in Kalos. She moves the multitudes with her excellent acting. Yeah, this guy, fucking hell. Next up, we gotta make our way to the coast. So, we march through the routes, getting a couple new team members on the way, including this pain-in-the-ass Snorlax, an NK, and a Meditite. At this point, our team is starting to feel pretty good, even if it is a little imbalanced. We also hadn't missed out on a single encounter. Yet. Wait, no. I was gonna do it at some point. Alright. At this point, we're just trying to actually find the next gym. We're about 4 hours in, it feels like, and we only have a single badge. And we've just been getting pushed around by every NPC trying to learn what megas are. And this time we're trying to go check out a cave, because rocks are in caves. And rocks have things to do with megas. Now also in caves are this game's bad guys, Team Flare. Team Flare is probably part of the reason this game gets a bad rap, because they kinda suck dick. So, we beat out all of the goons and make our way to the end of the cave where we find our fossil Pokemon, and we pick out Tyron. I didn't really remember to name him, but we did call him Pika after the reviewer. So, it's okay? And now that we've done all this, we've revived our Tyrant, we've gone through the cave, we actually are pretty close to the second gym, and we start making our way there. And it's a rock-type gym. So, with most of our team being super effective to it, it really shouldn't be a big problem. But our overall strength is kind of low right now. Meditite, for being a fighting type, doesn't have any fighting type moves yet, and is still pretty far way out from getting any. NK is still pretty low power. I'm kind of worried about him being able to kill anything. Snorlax doesn't have any moves that are going to be good against rock types. Flabebe is super frail, and I'm worried it could be one-shot. And although Quilladin is strong in this gym, I don't want him to just solo the whole thing. That's kind of boring. And Panpour has the biggest issue of all. Trouble's cute. Nah, dude. Gen 5 Remake should come. Gen 5 is great, and it needs it. He's named after Lollifin. Now, if you've watched some previous Nuzlocke live with us, you'll know that this means he dies pretty early. But we still made it through the rest of the gym and got to fighting the gym leader, Grant. He felt like the first semi-real challenge we've had so far. So I decided to lead with bulky Snorlax because I figured he'd be able to tank a couple hits and whittle down the Pokemon. He ended up not being able to, but he did do enough damage to get Quilladin safely and take out both of his Pokemon. And we win. Okay.
Fuck, our fog is dead! Damn it!
Peter Grant! After getting the badge, we ended up moving up through Route 10, and we caught a Yanma that we named Dune. And then, in another encounter, we found a Hawlucha, and came to the very sudden realization that that was a specific Pokemon that was a massive, massive threat to the team. Hawlucha fucks up my team! We have to fight one later! And the next gym would have one as the race. So we were going to have to hope to get something that could deal with that very, very soon. But for now, we just kind of had to ignore the issue and move on to the weird rock town with absolutely nothing suspicious inside. Now, in this town, there wasn't a gym leader or anything, but we did meet the next gym leader. And she rolled up with 2 Lucarios that had the scariest moveset I have seen in this game so far.
Okay. Why? Why?
No! But AI's kind of dumb, so we beat him. And I was a little out of energy, so I didn't want to make my way to the next city yet. So what we decided to do was get the 2 encounters we could here, and then end stream. And we caught a Mime Jr. that I named Vitero. And we caught a Dedenne that I named Squink. And thanks for watching. This is my first time making something like this, so sorry if it's a little rough around the edges. My webcam's not great, my mic isn't perfect. I'm doing my best here. This time, I included 2 streams. Next time, maybe I'll try including 3 or something. Anyways, let me know if there's anything I should try and do better. Should I do less face cam stuff? Should I be a little more brief with it? Make it a little shorter? Maybe I should make it longer. Just push everything out a bit. If you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, maybe sub. Just saying, if you're still willing to be here, you know. And you can get to see the next part and any other video when I release them. I try and get one out a week. That's the plan right now. Or, honestly, you could come watch me live at Majestic Caveman on Twitch. Okay, bye. Have a good day.